Hi, this is Tim. I'm doing another video blog concerning the short amount of time that we have left as far as until the rapture of the church and the beginning of the tribulation period. Today is October 17th, 2012. We just had the presidential debate last night. I believe the second one with Mitt Romney and Obama. It was a non-eventful debate because the whole thing was scripted, so it wasn't very important. Just like this election is not going to be a open and honest election, it's just going to be a scripted thing if we get to the election. And that's why I'm talking today about. I firmly am the belief, as this is October 17th, that we're going to more than likely have an October surprise at the end of the month. From all the things on the internet and leaks that I've heard, that there's some major event, 9/11 event, going to occur between now and the elections. So I wanted just to follow up, since that as far as having the internet for the next month or two is likely. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? The main thing with my blogs is that you accept Jesus Christ, because that's going to be the only way out of anything to do with this end times dilemma. We're watching the fulfillment of the book of Revelations, the book of Daniel, the book of Ezekiel, some prophecies in Isaiah. So basically, once the church is raptured out of the picture, then all hell is totally going to break loose, because there will be no restraint left, and that's when you get the New World Order. But what I want to do today is I want to talk again about Albert Pike's Three World Wars, and specifically there's some interesting connections to the Bible that I hadn't put together until recently. And that has to do with the altar of Pergamus. The altar of Pergamus is an interesting item that I just connected with the events of World War I. I'll read you where we find the reference to it and why it's pertinent. It's in the book of Revelations, chapter 2, and it's in verse 12 and 13. And I'll go ahead and read that. This is where, in Revelations, it's talking to the seven churches, and Pergamus is one of them. And there's some interesting phrases used here, and I'll just pick this up and read it to you. And to the angel of the church in Pergamus write, these things saith he which hath the sharp sword with two edges. That's Jesus. I know thy works, and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is. So in Pergamus is where Satan's seat is. And thou holdest fast my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr. So there's a character named Antipas, and he was martyred in Pergamon, who was slain among you where Satan dwelleth. Okay, so we have Pergamus mentioned, and we have Antipas mentioned, and we have the seat of Satan mentioned. The seat of Satan is not the same as the synagogue of Satan, which is another term. So how this ties in with end times prophecy, it's in the book of Revelations, which is the 66th book of the Bible, the last book of the Bible. And how it ties in with Albert Pike is interesting. So Albert Pike is the Freemason who's the godfather of Masonry in the United States. He's wrote Morals and Dogma. And he lived basically up to the year 1891, and he's the Grand Master of what the Freemasons go by, his books mainly. Albert Pike was known to have prophesied, as you will, three world wars. Now, it's not a prophecy if you're inside and you make these things occur. A prophecy is talking about events that will occur in the future and that you have no part in making happen. So this is the devil's plan. The three world wars was the devil's plan, because Albert Pike is renowned to have had a bracelet that he could get in contact with Lucifer anytime he wanted to, since Albert Pike was also a member of the Ku Klux Klan. And he was just a nasty character. If you look at his picture, you can just do Albert Pike and look for pictures. You'll look at him and he looks like a evil Saint Nicholas, which a lot of the Nicolaitans looked like that. That picture of Saint Nick, those weren't known to be nice guys if you get into that whole history of Saint Nicholas. So Albert Pike is a Luciferian Freemason, 33rd degree Freemason, head of the Freemasons in Washington. The only statue in Washington, D.C. where is of a Confederate general, which he was during the World Civil War in the United States. So he has this discussion with Lucifer. Lucifer lays out his plan for the 3 world wars. Albert Pike talks to Manzini about it, and it's documented in a 1925 book that they talked about these things. And it used to be posted, this letter supposedly was posted somewhere, and then it just mysteriously disappeared, as lots of things mysteriously disappear when the Freemasons are around. So what I wanted to talk about, which was interesting, is that World War I is the first of the 3 world wars. And Albert Pike was a Luciferian occultist. And what I did not know at the time is that not the Tsar, but the Kaiser of Germany was an occultist too, and they were on speaking terms with, he was on speaking terms with Albert Pike. What was interesting, I did not know, was that the Kaiser had archaeologists, German archaeologists, uncover in Pergamon, I believe is in Turkey, this altar to Zeus, which is this altar from Pergamon. And he has it dismantled and brought back to Berlin, because Berlin and Germany at that time was seeking to become the new Roman Empire. So like all great nations, they wanted to increase their cultural impact by having great architecture and great museums. And you're still in the era when you have these, all the paintings and art and everything. So this altar in Pergamon is brought back to Germany, and it is the altar to Zeus. They reconstruct this thing, they put it together, and they enshrine it. And what's interesting is that this thing is the altar to Zeus, which was in the seat of Satan. So here we got the guys that are going to go ahead. Kaiser is going to start World War I because he's got a bunch of interconnected alliances, and he's going to go ahead and start this World War I, thinking that he's going to come out on top in some kind of revised Roman Empire with this, and be the leader of it, I guess. So what's interesting about this altar of Pergamon is that, and this is where it gets interesting, it is made to Zeus. Zeus is basically the god of the Greeks, the main god, the father god of the Greeks. Zeus was pictured, if you remember the movie The Immortals that just came out. This is a story, and this ties into what I'm talking about with Illuminati Hollywood and their philosophy and their theology of what they want to have. Zeus is this mythical god of gods, and he basically has all these little demigods under him, which are all his kids, and they get up to all kinds of crazy stuff. Anything debauchery you can think of, all these kids did. So there's all kinds of incest, and there's all kinds of drunkenness, and all kinds of, just murders and everything that every one of these other gods are doing. So the Kaiser has this built in Berlin. What's interesting is that this seat of Satan altar is in Berlin even after World War I. That up and coming comes Hitler. Hitler is very much into this romantic Thule Society, theosophy, and anything to do with the gods and becoming a gods and the Aryan race. All this stuff is all occultist. So they basically have his whole arena where he mainly did his whole Nazi propaganda from was built around this altar of Pergamon. It was built in a modified version of the altar of Pergamon, the seat of Satan. So basically what you have is you have Hitler standing up there on this altar of Pergamon saying that basically I am the son of Zeus. That's what's going on here. So you get what also happened at this altar, which is interesting in Pergamon, when we talk about Antipas in the Revelations, Antipas was believed to be a bishop of the first bishop of the first century Christian church in Pergamon, and he was supposedly martyred in what's called the Brazen Bowl. The Brazen Bowl is a bronze bowl. It's a bowl. It's a horned bowl like you would see out when you look at the Rockefeller Plaza and you see the big bowl sitting outside. That's the exact same kind of bowl that was in Pergamum. And he was martyred in this bowl. It had a door on it. You put the guy in there, and then you cook the guy alive inside the bronze bowl. And when he's screaming and yelling and all this stuff, the sounds come through the bowl's nostrils and everything and sound like bellows and different kinds of things. So it's a real sick way of killing somebody. You will see in the Immortals that they did the same thing. The same bowl, this bronze bowl, was used to kill the, I believe, the gal that could see into the future. Her girlfriends got killed in the bowl to teach her a lesson. But so you got the seat of Satan is associated with Zeus. You got the altar in Pergamum is associated with Zeus and the seat of Satan. You have this bowl that's associated with the execution of sacrifices in the altar, on the altar of Pergamon, where they kill people in these brazen bowls. So basically what you have put together here is that Zeus is at the seat of Satan. So Zeus is Satan, which makes sense if you think about the whole history of the gods, Zeus being the father of the gods, and then the lesser gods being the demons. All the gods that are talked about in ancient time are the fallen angels, the Lucifer being the chief of the fallen angels. So basically you have here being corroborated that Zeus is the Lucifer character, is the devil, and that these other demigods and everything are all his minions that followed after him. It gets even more interesting than that. So you got the Third Reich, run by Hitler, is set up as him being the son of Zeus and this altar of Pergamon. But you also have all this, if you watch Hitler's propaganda movie about himself, it has him in the beginning of the movie flying in like out of the sky in an airplane as a god landing to see his people. And then what's really interesting is this ties into the whole Bush thing about the 1,000 points of light. When you look at the ritual of Adolf Hitler in this altar of Pergamon environment, you see them shooting all these light beams up into the sky. And it's interesting again because Hitler says that there's two quotes that he makes that are interesting to me that tie him into the revived Roman Empire and the Catholic Church. Hitler specifically says that he wanted the moment of everybody being in the stadium in front of this altar with these lights all showing up into the dark skies to be a reserved, a holy moment like you would have in a Catholic, what do you call it, a Catholic Mass, to have this impact, this romantic impact that you are witnessing basically a God up here talking to the people. The other interesting quote that he had at the time that ties him to the Jesuits and ties him to the Catholics is that he appointed Himmler as his head of the SS, which is the secret police within the party, to raise terror amongst, keep everybody in line so that they wouldn't be snapped up by the SS, including all the other Nazis. Hitler says that the motivation for Himmler was that Himmler represented his Loyola. And Loyola is the founder of the Jesuits, and the Jesuits, of course, are behind any nasty thing that you can see in history, the development of communism, the development of fascism. They've been working with they set up Freemasonry. They've been out to destroy all the nations of the world, to bring everything under the control of them, basically, even above the popes. But getting back to the altar of Pergamon, what's interesting is that we flash forward in history to Barack Obama. Barack Obama creates the altar of Pergamon in Denver when he did his 2008 inauguration or acceptance speech. That was a recreation of the altar of Pergamon. So Barack Obama was in a sense saying that I am the son of Zeus. I am the ordained son of God, or the son of Satan. So you're saying the son of Zeus is the son of Satan. So that's interesting, because if we come up here to a suspended election, and martial law, and you have everything basically on the books that says there's no more freedoms after that, it's gonna be this son of Zeus that's gonna be running things for his New World Order buddies. Also, the other connection with the Third Reich is that the Republican Party, as far as the history with the Operation Paperclip, is a fascist organization. It has a lot of levels of Nazis, hereditary Nazis. Karl Rove is related to some of these Operation Paperclip Nazis that came in from Germany. You'll have several other Nazi family members that are second generation or third generation Nazis. So you have a lot of fascists in the Republican Party, as far as on what they call the right. The left, of course, is the communists. Jesuits created the communists, and you got the Jewish communists like Kagan, who's in the Supreme Court, the second lesbian Supreme Court justice, who basically comes from Lazar Kaganovich, which was the last of the old line Russians, communists who died in '91. So they're related. So you got communists and fascists running the United States government, basically, and you do not have anybody that believes in the Constitution anymore, and they're trying to bring it all down. So right now we're looking at the October surprise, and the current events that point to an October surprise are this. This is a breaking event as of October 17th, which is today. This is something that most people don't know about. That Israel is preparing for joint military drills with the United States. And so we have American troops being deployed. It says about 3,500 to be deployed over there. And they are saying, which makes it interesting, that it is somewhere towards the end of October. Now that corresponds with the leaks coming out that there's going to be an October surprise, and we're going to have a police state crackdown as of towards the end of October. It's my belief that whatever event is going to happen, it's going to be a nuclear event at some point, because you're going to have the United States sitting over there in Israel ready to take on the Iranians. You're going to have some kind of nuclear reprisal here against the United States, and you're going to have martial law imposed, at which point we don't get back any of our rights. And so that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a few weeks here, basically. The other breaking news today was that Canada closed its borders, which I've never heard of Canada closing its borders to the United States before. But evidently there was some lady processor at the Canadian border was shot by some American driver who mysteriously just shot himself afterwards. And so they closed down part of the Canadian border. So it would have been bigger if it would have been the whole border been closed down. But I would just say to watch this event as a false flag event because they're trying to see how people react to the Canadian border being closed down. Previous articles and reports have said that the Canadian military was mobilizing towards the end of October, mid-October to late October, as far as some of the radio reports, as far as being ready to deploy into the U.S., which is some rumors. And what other things are going on? The other events, let's see. Turkey is currently attacking Syria, and that's a prophetic event because if Turkey attacks Syria and wipes out Syria in some manner, that's setting up for Ezekiel, I believe, 38. The other major event that has come to light is the Libyan assassination of the Libyan assassination of the ambassador was a actual 9/11 event for this year. It was a 9/11 carried out assassination on the ambassador in Libya. Debka Files reports on 9/12 that a professional 20-man Al-Qaeda assassination squad precisely shot a rocket through the front of the Libyan council with the objective of spooking the ambassador to escape along one of the escape routes. And as the ambassador was getting close to the CIA safe house from which they were escaping to, they were blown up with RPGs and stuff. So it was an ambush that was premeditated. They were flushed from the compound to go to the CIA safe house, and they were assassinated there as planned. And this is a 9/12 report from Debka Files. This is 10/17 right now, and the United States is still lying their butts off regarding it not being an actual 9/11 reprisal attack. So those are the events for today. I'm going to follow up with some other NASA-related videos, and also, but this was just to tie in the World War III that's coming up. It will be a nuclear war. It probably will be short, with a couple hours, but enough to shock the world to where the world will say peace, peace at any cost, and no more national rights, and no more, whatever. So it's the Fourth Reich is the New World Order, and it's planned on being exactly like the little Adolf Hitler running it, but this time it's going to be the Antichrist at the head of it. So I will talk to you later.